Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 205 for February the 14th, 2023. Happy Valentine's Day. Bah humbug. You will know why I said that if you caught yesterday's vlog. Okay, let's move right into my projects that I'm working on right now. Let me get this up on the screen if I can find them. There they are. And that is not what I'm working on. Let's back it up. Okay. You've seen these in different stages before, but they are now completely finished. This is my Cleopatra fan table runner. I have it all quilted. I used kind of a square within a square, kind of very modern design for this one. And I think it turned out pretty nice. It's very colorful, that's for sure. If I was to do Cleopatra fan blocks again, and I think I will, I'd kind of like to make a whole quilt using Cleopatra fan blocks. That's a mouthful to say. Cleopatra fan blocks. Say it 5 times. Not on my time. I would, this background fabric that's up here that's very, very busy that I used in this, I would use something much plainer so that the pattern of the Cleopatra fan would stand out a little bit more. But this was the first time I had ever used the AccuQuilt die, and so yeah, live and learn. Also, if you notice here, and I'm not sure if this is part of the design or not, and I don't think it is, but for some reason I think I cut off, I don't think, I know I did, I cut off the points on these. So I've got to experiment a little bit more with that because I think those should be nice sharp points. I mean, in something like this table runner, which was very simple, you know, it's no big deal. Make sure I give it to somebody who's not a quilter. A quilter will figure that out, but a non-quilter, hey, they'll think it's part of the design. So if you don't say anything, they'll never know, right? And then I finished this one. Again, this was an AccuQuilt die. It's the bear paw one, and I just really want to see what that would be like because I've been tinkering with the idea of making a bear paw quilt. And this one turned out pretty good too. I used actually the same quilting design as I did on the Cleopatra fan table runner. And yeah, again, this is another one. It was something I just pretty much did very quickly just to get used to using the AccuQuilt die for creating bear paws. So they sit, both of those quilts sit in my supply of quilts for, you know, possible gifts, whatever. I don't know. I've got a lot of table runners. I need to go through them and sort them out and really seriously think about who I might be able to give them to, because how many table runners is one person going to use? I already swap out my table runners on my dining room table on a regular basis, and those ones that I use are upstairs in my buffet, you know, kind of a thing. But I have a whole bunch more, so we'll see. We will see. I also, and I need to find the picture for this, I've also been working on that star-crossed. I'm having a little problem with my brain and my lips this morning. I don't know why. Please bear with me. It's age, maybe. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you the star-crossed quilt that I've been working on, and I have a couple of other things I want to say about that too, but let me find that picture. So here's the star-crossed quilt, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Now, I had some problems with this. I didn't have problems with the pattern. It was a cozy quilt design pattern, and those ones I have always had good luck with. They're so well written. And this is basically a scrappy quilt because you make it with a jelly roll, and you're really not trying to match up the various pieces. Although if you look, when you first look at this, you think, oh, look, these match, and then you start studying it and you realize, no, it's scrappy, and it is scrappy, and that's fine. I like scrappy. But the problem was, and I mentioned this, I think, in the video, no, maybe not. I'm getting my videos mixed up. I ran out of backing fabric or background fabric, and that is this darker one that you see all around here. I just had enough to do this center part. In fact, if you see these darker pieces here, they were supposed to be this color as well, but I didn't have enough for that. So I went to another jelly roll and pulled out some dark brownish strips and used them there. And I think it worked out okay. Not a big problem. But the big problem came with the borders because I needed more of this background fabric for these borders, plus a different color. And you'll notice that where the problem came in is with these corners, because you need it to have all the same color. And this picture's not really showing it that well, but they are the same color. And this is the only part of the quilt, these corners, where the pieces are symmetrical. And everything is the same in the color. They're just flipped around. But I was able to find in my stash a couple of other fabrics that I thought would work with this, and they do. And so overall, I am very pleased with the way this has turned out. Now, this has not yet been quilted. That's the next stage of this. I have to check my supply of backing fabric to see if I have something that's appropriate. And right now, I did find something the other day, but I don't know if I'm really happy with it. It's really not in these shades of brown, and I think I really want shades of brown for this. So I may have to do a little shopping spree later this week and see if I can pick up some backing fabric for this. And once I have it all quilted and bound, I will show this to you again then. But that brings me to, just let me get out of this, that brings me to demos. Now, my initial intention when I was working on the Star-Crossed quilt was to do it in stages, record myself doing each stage, and each week I would put one of those stages up. And I think last week I put the first one up showing you the pattern, and that's what I suggested I was going to do. And with the idea that maybe if you had the pattern as well or had purchased it, it would be sort of a sew-along, sort of. Well, guess what? I got ahead of myself on that. I did record each stage of it, but now I'm thinking, no. I am going to put that up as a separate tutorial video. And that may go up, that won't go up until I get what I just showed you quilted and bound. So that'll be probably a couple of weeks yet. So I'm not going to do it week by week. So sorry about that if you actually were expecting that. It's just, I get working on these things and I get ahead of myself. I'm not very good doing what they call step outs and things like that. I'm going to have to work on that. So I've canceled the idea of making the Star-Crossed quilt a weekly installment, if you will, and it will be all one total video from beginning to end once I get it quilted. In place of that, though, I have something else for you, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so I want to come back to what happened in the last week. Well, we had a pop-up sew day on Saturday, this past Saturday, February the 11th. Yes, February the 11th. Lots of fun. There were about 30 of us there. Everybody got whatever they want to do done, I think. And that's why basically I was working on the Star-Crossed quilt and I just kept going. And I really couldn't record myself at that point because, you know, we were doing a pop-up sew day. I had lots of people there. I suppose I could have had a little captive audience for it, but that might have been kind of boring for the other people. So no. So yeah, we had a great day. Yes, I bought some things, though they'll be coming up in a future video. A couple of patterns. Actually, one's a pattern book, and I'm kind of excited about it because it's a sampler quilt. And the other is just a cool pattern that I'd never heard of before, and found from a different company. And I think that one I will be talking about probably next week on the Idiot Quilter episode. But yeah, every time I have a pop-up sew day, it costs me money because everybody that comes on the pop-up sew day has something that I want. They're enablers, I guess. But anyways, it was fun. And the next one, well, one of my regular subscribers and viewers and friends has decided that it will be her birthday in March, in around March 18th, and she has decided that we are having a pop-up sew day on her birthday. So we are. That's going to be March the 18th. Now, there'll be more details about it, more notifications of it, and I won't post the Zoom links for that until we get closer to the date. My usual method. I usually post the link for pop-up sew days, um, at least 24 hours in advance. That's why I call them pop-up sew days, but now they're starting to become a little bit more regular. So you'll get more of a notice as to when those are going to happen. So thank you, Jan, my ambassador as well. And those of you that have been on pop-up sew days know who Jan is, who it is that I speak of. But anyways, yeah, so it'll probably be March the 18th. Why do I say probably? Things can happen. But I'm pretty much committed to the idea that it's going to be March the 18th. Okay. So Stephanie and Steven's sew along is now completed. And we are going to have a trunk show of the quilts that people have completed on March the 1st. And as we said on Stephanie and Steven's sew along, don't worry if you do not have your quilt done, those of you that have been participating in it by March the 1st, no big worry. You can send it to me anytime you wish, and I will feature it as a subscriber's quilt of the week. So anytime at all. But if you have it done by March the 1st, before March the 1st, send me a picture of it, and we're going to have a special live where Stephanie and I will be revealing your finished sew-along quilts. And speaking of sew-alongs, Stephanie and I had so much fun doing that sew-along that we've decided to carry on, not with a sew-along, but we're going to on Wednesday mornings from 9 a.m. Eastern Time to about 10:30 Eastern Time, so about an hour and a half, come and sew with us, with both myself and Stephanie. There is a Zoom link in the show notes below for it, and it is the same Zoom link that will be used every Wednesday from here on in until, well, we're going to see how it works out. I mean, if it doesn't work out, if that's just not a good time for some people, and I know some people can't because they work, go figure. But if we only have like 1 or 2 people showing up each time, then we'll probably rethink the idea. But right now, we're planning to do it every Wednesday morning, as I said, from 9 to 10:30 Eastern Time. And yeah, it's sort of like a pop-up sew day or craft and chat day with me, where we don't have anything formally scheduled. There's not going to be a tutorial or anything like that. Just bring whatever you're working on and enjoy some socializing while you sew for an hour and a half on a Wednesday morning. So the link is in the show notes below, and I suggest you copy it and put it someplace where you can always find it. It'll always be in my show notes, but it's the same one. It's a reoccurring Zoom link, as they call it. So, if you've got it once, it's the one you use every time. So, hope to see some of you there. Okay, so what else have I got to show you? So, I bought something. Of course I did. Just let me see if I can find it. And that's not it. Bear with me. I am having a real struggle today. I don't know. My brain, my mouth, and my computer, nothing is working the way I want it to work today. Okay, here we go. African fabrics. Now, I'm going to speak about a guest that I interviewed last week, and it's just gone up onto YouTube as I speak about this now. But that person got me thinking about African fabrics. So I bought some. Now, I'm going to have to contact Teajuana from Tea Quilts and ask her, did I get authentic African fabrics? I don't know if I did or not. Why do I say that? Because I ordered them from Amazon. Now, I have never ordered fabric from Amazon before. And the only reason I did this time was because I won a gift certificate from Stephanie Stitches. And I decided to use it for this. They're very pretty. They're very, very lovely. However, they have a real strange feel to them. They feel almost like stiff cardboard, paper, something like that. One of them, the one up in the top left corner with the yellow, reds, and oranges on it, that one feels like vinyl. It's not vinyl because I put a hot iron to it. It didn't melt. So it's not vinyl. But then I did some research and found that African fabrics are a form of batik, and they do feel this way, very hard. But they will soften up once you wash them. However, it suggests, the things that I read suggest that you wash them by hand, and you may find that you're going to get a lot of dirt in your water when you do it the first time. I haven't done that yet. They're very vibrant. They're very pretty. I will try. I will take one and I will test it. I will hand wash it and see what happens with it. And what am I going to use them for? Well, I don't think I'll put these into a quilt. I think I might make them into a more abstract wall hanging or something like that. I really don't trust putting these particular fabrics into a quilt because I don't know how they'll wash. I don't know how they'll hold up or anything about them. Now, when I say I don't know if I got authentic African fabrics, I did look at who was distributing these by way of Amazon, and it was China, of course, everything is, right? But one of my subscribers did mention to me at the pop-up sew day, because I showed these on the pop-up sew day, that China does do a lot of exporting of African fabrics. So these may be authentic. I have no way of knowing for certain. So anyways, they are very pretty. They're very vibrant. And you know I love bold and bright color schemes. So I'm going to experiment with them sometime down the road. I don't know when, but sometime down the road. And I'll see what happens. And I'll let you know what happens with all of these. Okay, so let me go back to me. So I already mentioned the fact that I'm not going to do little individual segments about the star-crossed quilt, but I do have a demo for you. Something that you'll probably laugh at me because it is such a simple idea and it's not my idea, and I wish it was because it's brilliant. And that's for how to utilize my portable display wall, and I did a little video about that which I'll insert right here for you now. So I want to show you something I've just installed in my sewing room, and it's a display wall. Now that's not anything new and sensational. Many people have display walls. Unfortunately for me though, I can't have a permanent display wall because I really don't have any wall space for that. So what I've been using is one of those Fons and Porter portable display walls that you hang up. It's essentially a tablecloth, a vinyl tablecloth with a flannel back to it, which you can buy at the dollar store. So, you know, you can get them at the dollar store and they work just as well and a lot cheaper. This one cost me about 40 bucks Canadian, I think. But nevertheless, that's what I have been using. But the biggest problem with it is that when I want to use it, I had to hang it up on my bookshelf behind me, well, my fabric shelf actually, and with command hooks, and then take it down when I wasn't using it so I could get at my fabric. It was a bit of a pain in the arse. I was watching something, or someone sent me a comment saying that they had their display wall on a curtain rod. And I thought, yeah, why not? That's a simple idea. Why didn't I think of that? So I ordered a curtain rod from Amazon, a good one, one that's fairly thick, and so it won't sag in the middle, and I mounted it behind me onto my bookshelf, just like this. And then I used rings that have little clips on them. I put those on the rod and hung the display wall from it. So I'll show you what I mean. So over here, you can see here's the display wall. When it's not in use, I can just slide it across the curtain rod, and I put a little piece of ribbon on it to hold it closed. When I want to use it, it's easy. I just take it. Now I have a couple of little clips here on the other side just to hold it out of my way. I have a little clip there. I'd slide it across, and there's another clip over here. Why those clips? They're actually command hooks because they take they allow it to stay open flat, because these will shift around when you're hanging blocks on the display wall. So there you go. Just like that, kind of like a shower curtain. And when I'm done with it, I just unclip it, slide it over, and put these two pieces onto a little clip in here, just holds it back. Take my ribbon, and it will tuck right back in there, and it's out of my way. So, it's a simple idea, but I'm glad I heard someone talk about this because, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's brilliant. I guess what they say, the simplest ideas are the best ideas, right? So that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week, and this comes from a gentleman who lives in Australia, and Doug is a very, very prolific machine embroiderer. Both he and his wife are. He has made some very beautiful projects in the past, and I have shown them on past episodes of the Idiot Quilter here as well. And Doug has been working on, and I think he now has it completed, the tree skirts. Rent it. See, I told you it's not working today. The tree skirts, Christmas tree skirts. Okay, I'm not going to say that one again. Which is one of the designs that I picked up as well from, I think it was Sweet Pea, but don't quote me on that. I never finished mine. And I have to get back to it at some point because, well, I'd like to have it for this Christmas, but I just thought of something. I won't need it for this Christmas. More about that in a moment. But he has done it, and he has completed it, and he sent me a lot of pictures. So I made them into a little video to share with you now. This week's subscribers quilt comes from Doug Billspid, or Bill Speed, who's in Australia. And Doug is very much a prolific in the hoop embroidery creator. He does a lot of these, and he does them on a very large scale, as you can see here. So he has sent me several pictures of a couple of projects that are on the go, which I'm going to show you here. I don't usually show more than one or two pictures, but I thought you might be interested in seeing the process someone goes through as they create an in-the-hoop design. He says, "Hi, Stephen. Sorry to annoy you again and so many attachments. A happy new year to you and Walter. My youngest daughter liked the Christmas tree skirt so much I had to start another for their next Christmas. I have completed all the embroidery and it needs to be cut and assembled. Just as a matter of interest, I stumbled on a nativity version of the Juju Christmas tree skirt, so I'm halfway through the embroidery tops of it. See attachments. I will send the rest of the center and outer embroidery panels in a couple of weeks. I liked your cotton color session. I have Janome thread, so I tend to stick to their color arrangements. I have bought 4 projects for this coming year. I have bought 4 projects for this coming year. All are Anita Good Design projects. Noah's Ark Special Edition, Savannah Sunsets, Circus Dreams, and when it's available from a source in Great Britain, or I'm not sure, no, is that Ganita? I'm not sure what GB stands for a source in GB, for half price, Exodus, Moses parting the Red Sea, a 16 by 10, 9 blocks. I'm not religious, just looks like an exciting applique project. Keep up the good work. Regard, Doug." And you can see in this picture what one of these tree skirts looks when it's finished, and it's beautiful. I have not finished mine that I started before Christmas in 2022. I'm hoping that I will get it done by the time Christmas comes up this year in 2023. So thank you, Doug, for sending so many pictures. But I thought it might be interesting for my viewers to see how big a process it really is to do some of these projects. They're a lot of fun, but they're a lot of time and a lot of work. Thanks, Doug. And that takes me to another male quilter who I would dearly love to interview. He is Canadian. He lives out, I believe, on the East Coast. I think it's the East Coast, or is he from the West? One or the other. Anyways, he's Canadian, and he's male, and he's a quilter. And he doesn't want me to interview him right yet. I haven't given up on him yet, though. the reason he doesn't want me to interview is because he says that he's really not a quilter. His wife's the quilter, and his wife just helps him a lot with it. Well, he has videos up of him doing the quilting, or making the quilts. So I would call him a quilter. So I need to work on him because besides quilting, he does a whole lot of other things as well. But what I thought I would do is show you his YouTube channel because I find it really interesting, something a little different, because this man does many things, and his name is Donald Mulders. This week's YouTube of the week comes from a male quilter who has only recently got into quilting, but he does have a YouTube channel, and I find the YouTube channel really interesting because this individual, Donald Mulders, sorry, Donald, has a lot of interesting content that goes beyond just quilting. Of course, the quilting videos are very good, and he has a set of tutorials taking you through his process in making a quilt, but he also is a lover of craft beers, and he talks about those. He was in the military for most of his life, and he is a scuba diver, so he has some really wonderful shots, underwater shots of that. He also has some interesting videos talking about his life as a member of the military as well. So there's something here for everybody. It's very interesting, and I just find him a very unique individual who does all of this military stuff and scuba diving and loves beer, and he also quilts. Now, he does admit that he gets a lot of help from his wife, and I did reach out to him and ask him, he is a Canadian, and ask him for an interview, but he declined because he felt not confident enough because he has a lot of help from his wife. I still think he'd make a very interesting interview, and maybe I'll pursue it a little bit further and see if I can get him more interested in actually going on an interview with me. So if you want something a little different, something a little unique, something entertaining, then check out Donald Mulders. Okay, so that takes me to future projects in my little list of things to do. You know, at the first of the year, I made a list of projects I wanted to finish this year, and I was going to stick to that list. Yeah, that's not happening. Squirrel, you know. But here is one that I've just recently discovered, and it comes from the Quilt in a Day Go Cube book, which is the book I got along with the AccuQuilt cubes that Walter bought me for Christmas this year. And this one is a Christmas sampler, and lately I've been just hankering to make a sampler quilt, and so this one I'd really like to do. I'll show you what I mean. This week's future quilt to make comes from the book I talked about last week called Quilt in a Day Go Cube. It's the book that I got with some of my cubes from AccuQuilt at Christmas time. And this particular quilt is a Christmas sampler, and as I said last week, I really do like sampler quilts because, well, the reason being is that you get a variety of blocks. It's not the same thing repeated multiple times for the quilt. This one especially looks like a great Christmas quilt, and I'll need to start it very early because I think this is going to take some time to create. So maybe put myself on a little schedule here and do a block every so many weeks. And by the end of this year, before Christmas, I'll have it done. It looks very vintage, and well, depending on the fabrics that you pick, it could be also very modern in look as well. I think I will tend to go towards more of the vintage look because I think these blocks, they're all traditional blocks, lend themselves to that kind of look. So that's something I want to work on very soon. And as I said, it came from the book called Quilt in a Day Go Cube, which is available from AccuQuilt and may be available in local quilt stores as well. So that takes me to interviews this week, and yes, I have one, and it's a wonderful interview. This morning my brain is just not functioning. And I interviewed Teajuana from Tea Quilts. And I mentioned earlier that Teajuana is very big into African fabrics. She sells African fabrics as well. And yeah, if you want to know anything about African fabrics, she's the one to go to. But it's a delightful interview with a very delightful person. So here's a little snippet of that
Run
interview.
retreats, right?
Yes, I do retreats every other year, and that's because it's like an inclusive retreat where your room and board is there. And we're there 5 days. This is not the weekend get in and get out. And the
Right.
reason why I did that is because it was geared for my YouTubers. And if you're going to travel, take a plane from California to St. Louis, that's going to be pretty costly. And it's not for you to come here for 2 nights and then fly back home. That's very expensive. So I wanted you to have a quilting retreat full experience. When you're out of town and you don't know people, the first day is just getting to know everybody. You're probably having sold a stitch because you're overwhelmed and so happy you made it. Everybody's getting in at different times. It's not like having a local retreat where you could do a weekend retreat locally because everybody know everybody and you only got like a 20-minute ride.
Right.
So I wanted them to have more time. So we do 5 nights, 6 days, and then we also do a bus trip. So I get a chartered bus because I don't want everybody running around. We're going far. we're not talking about the local stores yet. We're going far on an excursion. Like I took them to Missouri Star last year.
And you will find my interview with Tijuana of Tea Quilts already up. So you can check that out. Okay, and there's a link for it in the show notes, of course, below. Okay, that takes me to online quilt stores, and this one is Victory Stitches. This week's online quilt store is down in the east coast of Canada, and it's in New Brunswick in a place called Hillsborough. I don't know if I'll get there, if it's on my way to Fredericton or Moncton when we go down there in June. But if it is, we'll drop in. But in the meantime, here is their online quilt store. They tell you where they're located on the first page. They tell you it must be near, it is near Moncton. It's on the way to Moncton and to Fundy Bay, I guess. So we may have a good chance of going in here. Because we are going along that route. So they have their hours listed and they show you what's new. And they show you new fabric lines and they have a newsletter and they're on Instagram. Okay, well, let's check out what they have to offer in their store. So fabric lines, let's see what they carry. And they have them listed on the left-hand side of the page. Woodland Christmas, Liberty of London. I'm just looking for ones that I know. There's Laurie Holt. And Cozy Christmas. Easter Parade. They look like they have a lot of different collections in here. Like quite a few, really. So let's check out pricing. So let's pick some Liberty of London because they're usually pricier fabrics to start with. So they don't have a lot to choose from and it looks like they're kind of winter Christmassy ones at the moment. It says $5 to $19. Well, is that by a meter? Fabric cut. Okay, so you can get it as a fat quarter, half yard. Again, yards. We're Canadian. Meters, please. A 1 yard cut. So that's $19 for a 1 yard cut. That's not bad for Liberty fabrics because they're usually quite expensive. And that's well within the range that ordinary fabric is going for these days. Let's look at another fabric line here. Let's see, what's grabbing us? Do they have, okay, the Laurie Holt. So that's Farm Girl Vintage. Oh, it's not available on the page yet. Okay. So let's see. Do they have Northcott? Just go down here. It's in alphabetical order. Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. Let's go fabric by manufacturer. That might be better. Okay, Riley Blake. Robert Kaufman, Michael Miller. do not seem to have Northcott, which is a Canadian company. But let's check out Michael Miller because they're usually very popular. $4.50 to $17, so the upper price is for a yard. Well, that price is not bad. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so fabric selections don't seem bad. Let's take a look at their pre-cuts. They have a charm pack section. And again, prices aren't terrible. They're actually okay. They're in the ballpark, as I say. And they have quite a few charm packs to pick from. What other things do they have in pre-cuts? Jelly rolls. Let's check out their jelly rolls. Only one jelly roll, and it's Maywood Studio, which is a good fabric manufacturer, $45. That's about standard price for a jelly roll. Fat quarters. And they go from $5 to $19. Okay, so we're back into, it looks like most of their fabrics you can buy as a fat quarter. And fat quarters seem to be $5, $4.50 going price for fat quarters. Their selection doesn't seem too bad. They have a lot of things, and a lot of these are not necessarily to my taste, but there's a nice variety. Okay, what else can we look for here? Wide back. What are they charging for wide back fabrics? Don't have a lot to choose from, but ooh, expensive. Yeah. $64.94 to $75. I'm assuming that's for 1 yard. Let's take a look. Well, maybe not. So a half yard is $10.99. So that's $21. So that, well, that is expensive. For half a yard? No, wait. Half a yard's 10. So for a yard, it would be $21. Well, that's not bad. And out of stock on 3 yards, but 2.5 yard piece, $54.95. So 21 and 21 is 42. Okay, so that works out. All right, the wide backs are not cheap, and their selection is not very good. Okay, on that, very limited. All right, they do have sewing and quilting kits. And here's the selection. Yeah, not a lot here to pick from either on that. Let's see. Well, let's just check what they have on sale, if they have anything. They have a little bit on sale. Yeah, so about for a yard, it looks like on average, their sale price is about $4 off. Quite a few here to choose from. A lot of prints on here. Okay, they do have English paper piecing. And it looks like they have the little papers for all of that, the templates. Okay, so it looks like they have a fairly extensive collection of EPP. What do they have in notions? Probably the standard kind of things. Oh, let's take a look at their batting. They have that under notions. Okay, it's Hobbs, and they're selling it in the packaged amounts. It doesn't look like they sell it by the yard or by the meter. They have buttons, fasteners, glue pens and refills, interfacing and stabilizers, needles, patterns and books. Let's take a look at their selection of patterns and books. A lot of Lori Holt. Lori Holt's very popular right now. So if you're into Lori Holt, they've got it all, it seems. Yeah, and they have a fair number of other patterns too. So, and the patterns, okay, this one, $46.99. Well, Lori Holt tends to be a little bit more pricey. That one must be special because it has an alphabet set, so I imagine it's applique. Okay, well, the other prices on patterns are about what you would expect. What else under notions? Rulers, tape measures, threads. Let's check out their thread selection. Aurifil, 50 weight. Really find it annoying that they do not put this in meters. Okay, these are the small spools, $5.89. Yeah, I guess that's about the going price. Okay. Now they have yarns and needlework as well. So if you're into cross stitching, if you're into knitting, they have things for you here. And of course, they have a whole section on Lori Holt. Gifts. They have a blog, tutorials and projects, classes. Let's see what they have in classes. And they seem to offer a number of classes. I'm assuming that these are in-person classes. Yes, I think they are. They have knitting classes, English paper piecing, and quilt as well, and some things about sewing machines and cutting. So okay, so they've got a lot of that kind of thing if you're interested. Now let's talk about their shipping. See what they charge. Shipping. Okay, parcel with tracking is $18. And United States, it's $15 Canadian for up to 0.15 of a kilogram. And then $20 Canadian over that. All shipped by Canada Post. Okay, shipping is okay. That's okay. Funny, just a little quirk here. Here they're talking about weight in metric, but they have their fabric all in yardage. Just a little thing there. That may be because of this is how Canada Post would list it. I really think you stick to what we use in our country if you're a Canadian store. Just a pet peeve of mine. Okay, so that is Victory Stitches in New Brunswick. If it's on my way while I'm traveling down there, I may drop in and check out the store. So if you have some Canadian, they have to be Canadian, online quilt stores that you think I should check out, please let me know, because I'm starting to run out of ones to review. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, this is way in the distant future. You know that we have a couple of trips planned this year, one to Vancouver and one out to the east coast of Canada. But we now have a third one, and we're going to Georgia. Yes, why Georgia, you may say, because I would say that. I'm sure Georgia's lovely. I've never been to Georgia. So we are going to a Stephanie Stitches retreat at New Year's this year. And that's why I said that it doesn't really matter if I get the tree skirt done this for this Christmas, because I won't be putting up any Christmas decorations. Why is that? Because we leave on Christmas Day to drive to Georgia. It is about 1,000 miles, 1,568 kilometers from where I live, one way. So we're taking 3 days to drive there. The retreat, Stephanie's retreat, starts on the 28th of December, so we could probably do it in 2 days, no problem. However, we decided to give us an extra day because it is December. We don't know what kind of weather we might hit on the way down to Georgia. The retreat, Stephanie does retreats all the time, and I'm sure many of you that follow Stephanie Stitches, you know about them. I saw pictures of the retreat center that she holds the New Year's retreat at, and it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. We're really excited about this. And maybe there'll be a few of you that are subscribers to me that we'll see at this retreat. I don't know. Let me know if you're planning to attend Stephanie's New Year's retreat. I know that one of the people that I have interviewed before, Russ from Quilt Meets World, he is going as well. But according to him, I talked to him about this, he only lives about an hour away from it, so that's okay. Yes, we are going to pack up the car with our sewing machines and everything, and we are going to beforehand to look into getting all of that equipment registered with the Canadian border officials, because we don't want them to think that we're trying to smuggle back sewing machines from the States when we come home. So we're going to get that looked after as well. But yeah, really excited about that. I'm almost more excited about that retreat than about my other 2 trips. Um, but anyways, yeah, it should be a great time. Lots of fun. And so that's about all I have to tell you today. Sorry that I was stumbling over my tongue and my brain. Don't know what that's all about. Whatever. Um, but I hope you have a great week. And, create something that'll make you happy, bring joy into your life. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.